A warm welcome back to the weekend and your latest industry developments. Today there is coverage on a new upcoming large Boeing 787 order, developments at Lufthansa with their cargo division, and none other than fan favourite Ryanair. But beginning with the headline story like I always do, and that sits with Thai Airways that are reportedly closing in on a deal with Boeing to acquire up to 80 787 Dreamliners. Yep, 80 787 Dreamliners per exclusive reports from Reuters. According to sources from the reputable publication, the airline is in advanced talks with Boeing over what can be described as a critical fleet renewal process. That is something that's been a long time in the making. Thai Airways, if you've been unaware, has been seeking requests for proposals or RFPs from leading aircraft manufacturers of Airbus and Boeing to continue powering its future fleet and moving towards a fleet that is of a more streamlined and efficient nature. As part of these proposals, the view was that up to 80 wide-bodies, or potentially even more, would be required to aid their growing demand and replace some of the more inefficient, recently removed types. The Boeing 787 is now emerging as the leading candidate to fulfill the requirements of Thai Airways as it does edge past Airbus's offerings. There has been a pretty recent fleet transformation at Thai Airways, something I do really want to take a look at. We've also witnessed a significant amount of capacity removed as the airline has entered a bit of a turnaround procedure to try and cut losses and emerge in a more sustainable manner. Notably, over recent times, the airline has axed operations with the world's largest passenger plane, the Airbus A380, and even stretching to the queen of the skies, the Boeing 747. Before that, the company also flew the Airbus A340. While these types are quad-engine and are iconic, they're wildly known for being inefficient, especially for a company like Thai Airways that may, at this point in the industry, struggle to make them work in their network. They also represent, like I touched on, a significant amount of capacity that has now been lost right across their route offerings. These removals have left Thai Airways with a pretty vast array of fleet types, and a new order for aircraft that would be of 80 units would likely be required to bring better efficiency and commonality to their day-to-day operations. I did briefly touch on that vast array of fleet types and just how messy it is, and I do want to take a moment to actually analyze that to give you a better understanding of what their fleet looks like. There are 56 aircraft in service, so naturally up to 80 787s would drastically grow this. However, its operation is hardly condensed to, say, just a handful of types. For its narrow-body operations, I'll briefly mention that it flies the A320-200s, but the carrier flies 777s extensively, with 3 separate variants that have been to their name, 2 of which do remain operational. They have a total of 5 777-200ERs that remain in service. These average almost 17 years of age. Meanwhile, the 777-300ER features prominently with 17 units per data. But then, see, there's also the A350-900. This is joint with the 777-300ER as having the most units in its name with 17. Interestingly, despite an order seemingly close for the 787 series, the airline currently only flies a handful of Dreamliners. A total of 5 787-8s remain in service, and just 2 787-9s. Ultimately, the airline has had its ups and downs across the industry in recent times, however, its fleet renewal has been something that's remained of persistent focus. Acquiring up to 80 Dreamliners is primarily viewed as a critical decision, and once delivered, the hope is that it will streamline and bring considerable fleet consistency. Over to the next topic of today, we're moving to Lufthansa Cargo, that have announced the acquisition of a 4th A321 Freighter as it continues to grow its fleet. The 4th A321 Freighter, registered as D-AEUJ, reaffirms the series' importance in the broader Lufthansa group. D-AEUJ was actually previously registered as a passenger aircraft and was first delivered to Air Berlin in May of 2012. In 2017, the aircraft moved to Niki and Laudamotion before having a short stint at Eurowings when the pandemic impacted it. Since adding the A321F, the group has met short and medium medium-haul demand for freighter operations with an efficient aircraft. Lufthansa says there are 14 pallet and container positions on the main deck and 10 on the lower deck. As a result, the twin-engine aircraft has a total payload of 28 tons each and offers Lufthansa efficient but also fast transportation. During the winter season, Lufthansa Cargo said it would be expanding its A321F network with the addition of Amman and Stockholm. These flights would operate on occasions multiple times per week and be very, very crucial for, in some instances, the possibility of late deliveries at the end of a production week. While the A321F has, yes, stolen the show in recent times with network expansion and now a new aircraft joining, the 777F is also a fleet type that is hugely pivotal. Lufthansa highlights that 83 weekly connections are offered with its 16 Boeing 777 freighters to intercontinental destinations, and additionally, during this winter season, the fleet is expected to grow from 16 units to 18, representing an increase of 2, meaning that it should grow with time. The CEO of Lufthansa Cargo said, "In total, we will serve 18 destinations in the short and medium haul network on more than 32 weekly flights with Airbus A321 Freighters. The high demand and the very positive feedback from our customers confirm our strategy to further expand our capacity and offer with the fast connections of the A321F operations." Onto the final story of today, that sits with none other than Ryanair. They'll be growing their network once more, seems like a very common occurrence for such an important airline, but this time beginning operations at Norwich Airport in time for the summer 2024 season. 3 Summer Sunshine routes will launch from Norwich Airport commencing April 1st, 2024, with in total 12 weekly flights being offered to and from the airport. Ryanair says it expects to carry 60,000 passengers alone during the summer season thanks to these Norwich operations. Additionally, over 60 local jobs will aid substantial regional growth and development. Norwich will be connected with service to popular sunshine routes such as Alicante, Faro, and Malta. A decision to launch operations from Norwich means this is now the 22nd UK airport in which the airline offers, it says, competitive fares and increased connectivity. Ryanair says it will be the number 1 airline in the UK, carrying over 52 million passengers annually to and from the UK, with over 440 routes available to its customer base. While this year boosting year-round connectivity and tourism, Ryanair says the 107 dedicated aircraft based in the United Kingdom, alongside other initiatives, help support over 37,000 jobs within the UK. Ryanair adds it'll continue growing to carry 300 million passengers by 2034. This exceptional growth will only be possible with 400 more aircraft joining. Notably, as part of these plans, the airline should acquire 300 of the higher capacity 737-10s. This is a variant currently awaiting certification from the FAA. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. Whether you have thoughts on any of the topics covered, you're more than welcome to drop them down below in the comments. Thanks a lot for your support here on the channel. It does mean a lot. Please do take care and also be safe, and I will indeed see you tomorrow at the same time for your latest industry recap.
And we'll fly.